Good evening to you, and thank you for choosing Hope TV to update you on what is happening within Kenya and the world over. In our updates tonight, President Ruto laws the KRA, King Charles has left for the UK, and Rwanda lifts visa requirements. We hope your weekend is going well so far. You're tuned in to Weekend News Watch. My name is Joy Mochache. Our sign language interpreter is Boniface Muredi, and we will both be taking you through our news for the evening. Let's get started. President William Ruto now says he is happy and proud of the conversation Kenyans are having around how much taxes they're paying rather than the amount of debt the country is accumulating. Speaking on Friday in Mombasa during the Kenya Revenue Authority National Taxpayers Day, the head of state has urged Kenya Revenue Authority to treat Kenyans with courtesy while collecting taxes. Since citizens support the government, the head of state said they should be treated with dignity. Meanwhile, the cabinet has approved the Public Audit Amendment Bill of 2023, which will see the Office of the Auditor General get capacity and enhanced independence to deal with corruption in the country. According to President William Ruto, their resolve as a government was to ensure that there was zero tolerance for corruption in all government offices.
I urge all Kenyans to respect and honor those amongst us who perform their part in supporting national development by voluntarily paying their taxes, and encourage those who have not to register and obtain KRA personal identification numbers and join the ranks of our patriotic mashujaa who keep the wheels of our development in motion by paying their part of taxes. This is the spirit in which the KRA recently recruited specially trained revenue service assistants as a move to enhance the revenue mobilization capacity and taxpayer compliance through service-oriented, citizen-centric methods of facilitating voluntary compliance in keeping with our fundamental commitment to decriminalize enterprise and enable all levels of business from micro, small, medium enterprises all the way to global multinational companies to meet their tax obligations. There is simply no space for wastage or corruption, because that would be the recipe for disastrous failure. Our tolerance for corruption, therefore, is absolute zero. In line with this, today, the Cabinet approved Public Audit Amendment Bill 2023, which will enhance the Auditor General's independence and transparency to ensure proper utilization of public resources through audits, and also provide power for fraud investigation.
Moving on, King Charles III and Queen Camilla have left Kenya to return to their monarchy in the United Kingdom. King Charles III met with religious leaders on Friday to promote peace and security in Kenya during the last day of his 4-day trip. The king spent a rainy Friday morning touring Mandri Mosque, East Africa's oldest mosque, before meeting with Christian, Hindu, Muslim, and African traditional faith leaders in an Anglican cathedral in Kenya's coastal city of Mombasa. The king leaves without granting an apology on the atrocities committed during the colonial period and without granting reprieve for victims of current human rights abuses by British forces training in Nanyuki town.
Can I ask you to take that at your matching?
Yes, I know. I'm the patient.
On to the cabinet, which has approved the construction of more dams in the country. More than 4,000 water pans will also be rehabilitated in a new plan that seeks to ensure stable water supply. The move, which is in line with government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, will guarantee water availability for irrigation and domestic use. The cabinet, in recognition of the effects of climate change and in compliance with 15 billion tree pledge, has designated a special working day for tree planting. This aligns with the government's national tree planting campaign under the presidential program for the accelerated restoration of forests and rangelands. Sad news as the founder of Deliverance Churches in Kenya, Apostle Joe Kayo, has passed. Joe Kayo, who is considered as the father and pioneer of the Pentecostal charismatic movement in Kenya, passed on yesterday afternoon while undergoing treatment at the Nairobi hospital. Kayo was born on the 5th of May, 1937 in Nyamira district in rural Kenya. According to the Joe Kayo Ministries website, in August 1957, Joe Kayo Ministries began in the coastal region. By 1960, two congregations had been established in Mombasa and Kilifi. He moved to Nyanza, where he stayed with famous British preacher Derek Prince, and later moved to Kampala, Uganda, where, with others, he pioneered the Pentecostal faith and stayed there for 9 years. Kayo also founded Deliverance Church Kenya and Uganda, Juba Pentecostal Church, and helped establish Family of God Churches of Zimbabwe up to the time of his death at the age of 86. Even at old age, Dr. Kayo held weekly meetings at City Hall. He lives behind his wife and 3 children. Former National Health Insurance Fund Chief Executive Officer Richard Langat Kirich has been acquitted by an anti-corruption court in a 116 million shilling graft case. In a judgment issued by Milimani Chief Magistrate Eunice Nyutu this afternoon, the court has acquitted Kirich and his co-accused persons of the allegations of defrauding the NHIF 116.9 million shillings after finding that the prosecution did not approve all the 5 corruption charge leveled against them. The court found that Kirich had properly entered into a contract with a medical center and the procurement process had been conducted in accordance with the law. The prosecution had lined up 39 witnesses to support the case against Kirich. However, the magistrate noted none of the witnesses had established a connection between the CEO and his co-accused in defrauding NHIF.
To calculate the quarterly entitlement of Meridian as per the concerned allocation, it is 14,250 divided by 4 to get a quarterly allocation of 3,562.5. 3,562 multiplied by the concerned allocation of 32,824 gives 116,935,500. I have tried working out how the sum of 43,498,125 was arrived at using the formula given by PW38. This sum could not reach at the same sum of 43,498,000. While in court, PW38 attempted to do the mathematics and he only came up with a sum of 40,719,375. It is therefore the prosecution has therefore failed to prove the amount in count number 3. So the upshot of this judgment is that I find that the prosecution has failed to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt against the accused persons on all the counts that they have been charged with, and I acquit them forthwith.
And that story takes us to our breather. We'll be right back with more.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
My best part about being a Hope FM listener was Hope Through the Night. My radio was always on at night, just worshiping and getting the sermons on the top of every hour. And it really made me a stronger worshiper. It made me a stronger worshiper. My best part about being a Hope FM staff has to be treasure hunt with the boys and girls every Saturday morning, being Auntie Rhoda. Oh, I just loved teaching the children. There's a child who wrote in her composition, she was writing about her family, and she wrote one of her aunties, Auntie Rhoda. I was so happy because I'd never met her, but they knew me as their auntie, and just teaching them in the ways of the Lord. So I really thank God for every moment I spent at Hope FM, and even for now, being impacted as a listener.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
Welcome back. You're watching Weekend News Watch with me, Joy Mochache, and Boniface Mureithi. Engage with us on Facebook at Hope TV Kenya, on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. Find us at HopeTV_KE. Kenya's war on terror is set to be greatly enhanced following the commencement of the review of the National Strategy to Counter Violence Extremism across the country. This comes as a wave of renewed threats caused by emerging global terrorist threats. The move, spearheaded by the National Counter-Terrorism Center, will see all counties, through the County Engagement Forums, undertake a comprehensive review that seeks to repeal some of the sections in the document drafted in 2016 to give more powers to security agencies deal effectively with terror threats facing the country.
I would want to tell Kenyans, when you see such violent videos, please do not circulate. First, because they're repugnant. They offend our very morality of people being killed, people dying. It is not what you want. We must have human dignity even in death, even for those that are dying, and also for the sake of their people that know them and their relatives. Secondly, when you circulate them, you are just praying into the terrorist plan, because they want them spread, because they want people to be afraid. So don't spread them. In fact, if you see it, it will be good if the first to see the alert, like the NCTC, don't spread it, because you will just be playing into the terrorist hand. I would also want to tell Kenya, especially now I know children are back at home.
I cannot also forget about the economic point of view on what we are doing like Laikipia County to ensure at least our people feel to be part and parcel of Laikipia in terms of the programs we have at hand in terms of industrialization, creating so many job opportunities for our youth when we come up with the industrial parks like the one we have just launched the other day, the Kai project, whereby we are aggregating all our produce in one center. We also have some other programs in Laikipia County, continuous involvement of our youth. Specifically, when I talk of our youth,
In our reports today, West Pokot County continues to grapple with elevated cases of malnutrition among children under 5 years old, primarily due to food scarcity in the semi-arid pastoral regions. Prolonged droughts have led to crop failures, leaving households vulnerable and resulting in poor feeding practices for children. Veronica Wanjiru has more.
According to the recent Kenya Demographic Health Survey 2022 report by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders, West Pokot County exhibits one of the highest malnutrition rates worldwide. The statistics reveal a stunting rate of 13.1% and wasting of 11.0%, positioning the county as the second highest in the country, following Kilifi County. A delegation from United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund UNICEF Kenya, led by country representative Shanine Nilofa, is currently in the county to assess the impact of ongoing support. Shanine expressed appreciation for the county's role in the success of UNICEF programs and emphasized the crucial need to maintain and strengthen the partnership, acknowledging the challenges posed by limited resources.
We have seen West Pokot County, as the Governor Excellency Governor mentioned, is the most remotest of the county. And we've also seen that incrementally over the past few years, there has been an increase in the positively on the social sector indicators with respect to nutrition, with respect to open defecation villages in the county, with respect to children back to school, also with respect to FGM and child marriages.
In response to the critical situation, UNICEF is actively engaged in addressing the rising malnutrition cases in West Pokot County. The County Nutrition Action Plan 2019 to 2023 and the County Community Health Services Act 2020 serve as pivotal policies frameworks aimed at accelerating the reduction in stunting by 2023. Veronica Wanjiru, Hope TV NewsWatch.
Great report, Veronica Wanjiru. Moving on to Siaya leaders who are at odds with local police, whom they accuse of neglecting to address the area's widespread insecurity. The leaders are now pulling for the development of vigilante organizations to assist in weeding out criminals who appear to have swamped security personnel and are maiming and killing at will. Led by Siaya Governor James Orengo and Alego Usonga MP Samuel Atandi, they lamented the police were slow to act whenever serious crimes such as robbery and murder were reported. Speaking at the Hono Trading Center in North Alego, Orendo and Atandi stated that quick action was required to protect the lives and property of the locals and made the decision to have some youths who will work closely with the chiefs and their assistants to boost security.
The cases of insecurity are rampant generally in Siaya, I must say that, but more particularly in North Alego. And we had the tragedy of 3 individuals, young men, being killed by thugs, and thugs who are known to be operators within the ward, who are involved in criminal conduct, raiding homes, beating up people, and now it has amounted to causing death to individuals, young Kenyans. And despite complaints which have been made, and the police coming here, the police commander and the county commissioner, there has been no improvement in security. There are petty cases of crime, and whenever they occur, the police come speedily and rapidly in expectation of something in return. I have no problems in making that statement because it's a statement of fact coming from the people of this world. But when there are acts of murder like this one, there's general criminality like destruction of people's property, or assaults which are frequent. Nobody's arrested, no prosecution, and no police patrols.
Youths from Narok County have been trained in the Information and Communication Technology program and asked to join the millions of Kenyans working in ICT employment. The county executive in charge of ICT, Linus Nairimo, stated at the training exercise in Narok Town that the county government embraces ICT and plans to build ICT hubs at the ward level to bring ICT services closer to the people. Nairimo noted that due to the unemployment among many Kenyans, youths need to embrace ICT as an alternative form of employment. Children with cleft lip or palate from less privileged families in Embu have benefited from a free reconstructive surgery organized by Kenya Progressive Nurses Association in conjunction with county health departments. The diagnosis and corrective surgeries being carried out at Embu Level 5 Hospital is part of association's corporate social responsibility ahead of its annual scientific conference to be held in the county next week, November 7th to November the 9th. The exercise is scheduled to take 5 days, where the association projects to treat over 50 children, according to National Chair Michael Nyongesa. A cleft lip is a tear or a gap in the upper lip, where cleft palate is a gap in the roof of the mouth, and are said to be most common birth defects in Kenya.
Wiki hili tunasaidia watoto waliozaliwa na mwanya katika midomo zao, yaani cleft lip ama cleft palate. Tuko hapa kwa sababu hii ni corporate social responsibility yetu. Hii ni hatua tunayofanya kando na uuguzi kuweza kuwasaidia watu wengine walio na shida ya kuwa na mwanya au shimo katika mdomoni mwao. Hivyo ni kwamba tuko hapa kuanzia jana, tumekuwa tukifanya ukaguzi ili ya kwamba tuone yupi ana afya nzuri ya kuweza kustahimili mambo ya upasuaji. Jana tukaweza kuwapata watoto 7 ambao leo hii wanaenda katika upasuaji. Tuna warai wote ambao kwa njia moja wana shida kama hii popote walipo hapa Embu na nchini nzima, ya kwamba wanaweza kuja hata kesho hata leo wanapopata ujumbe huu, ili ya kwamba wapate nafasi ya kurekebishwa nao pia waweze kuwa na tabasamu.
Tumetembea hapa ndani kwa wodi, tukaona kuna wagonjwa kadhaa kama 12 hivi ambao wanataka wapatiwe matibabu ambao kuna shida za midomo. Kumekuwa na upungufu sana wa madaktari na pia nurses, hata clinicians. Tuseme madaktari, most of the department hazina madaktari wa kutosha. Kabla mwaka ujao ufike, tutaongeza pesa kwa budget, ndio hiyo namba iwe double. Kwa sababu tumejua zahanati mingi sana ambao ziko nje ya hii town, from level 2, level 3, level 4, hata hii level 5. Hakuna nurses wa kutosha. Na ndio unakuta saa nyingine kumekuwa na ile upungufu ya service, unasikia watu wana complain, wapati ile matibabu vile inahitajika. Shinda si madaktari wako tayari kufanya kazi, lakini kuna hiyo upungufu ambao tunajaribu kutatua tukiwa kama county government.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Cindy?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Do they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even Meet of the What?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries, you can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live. Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Let's look at what's happening outside Kenya, as Rwanda announced that it will allow Africans to travel visa-free to the country by December the 31st. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame made the announcement, saying Africa could become a unified tourism destination. The move is envisioned to boost the free movement of people and trade. Rwanda will become the fourth African country to remove travel restrictions for Africans. Gambia, Benin, and Seychelles are the other African countries that have waned such restrictions. Kenya also recently announced plans to lift visa restrictions to fellow African nations.
Removed visa restrictions for citizens of every African country, as well as many other countries. Let there be no mistake about it. An African can get on a plane to Rwanda whenever they wish, and will not pay a thing to enter our country.
And of course, let's check out what's happening between the Israel and Gaza area, as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken attended a news conference in Israel today after meeting with Israeli leaders. Blinken stated that Israel has an obligation to self-defense, as no country should tolerate the slaughter of innocent. Blinken had discussed earlier with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about potential humanitarian pauses in the war in Gaza. This comes after the U.S. House of Representatives passed an Israel-only aid bill of $14.3 billion, with 214 voting for the aid and only 194 voting against the aid for the Israel-only bill.
Even as these people are able to exit Gaza, we remain relentlessly focused on securing the release of hostages, including American citizens. We discussed these ongoing efforts today. Our Deputy Special Representative for Hostage Affairs, Steve Gillen, who came with me on my first visit a couple of weeks ago, has remained here on the ground to help bring our people home and also to work with their families. We believe that each of these efforts would be facilitated by humanitarian pauses, by arrangements on the ground that increase security for civilians and permit the more effective and sustained delivery of humanitarian assistance. That was an important area of discussion today with Israeli leaders. How, when, and where these can be implemented, what work needs to happen, and what understandings must be reached. Now, we recognize this would take time to prepare and coordinate as well with international partners.
In the sports world, Safaricom Chapa Dimba heads to Bomet and Nakuru counties this weekend for an inter-county finals. A total of 16 teams from South and Central Rift will battle it out for a chance to participate in the Rift Valley Regional Finals, scheduled for Saturday and Sunday in Nakuru. Today, the action will be at Silibwet Stadium in Bomet, where Kabiyanga High School from Kericho will take on Ololunga FC from Narok in the boys' opening match. In another match, the regional defending champions Laser Hill Academy from Kajiado will be aiming for nothing but victory when they face off against the home team, Kamungay FC. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Joy Mochache. Our sign language interpreter has been Mr. Boniface Mureithi. From us here at Hope TV, we wish you a blessed night ahead.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, becomes better. And I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Sindio?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on leadership forum. Did they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even Meet of the One?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
So this parent calls me, sits after service and says, "Young man, you do not know what you've done," because tells me that my son comes and tells me that, "Dad, I have also been struggling with ABCD. His was a mix of alcohol and pornography." And just hearing Justo on Route 104, I feel a young person like me give his testimony on how God has moved in his life. And I requested to meet the young man, and we met over coffee, became good friends. And I told him as well, listen, by me sharing does not mean, because the devil puts banana peels all over. Scripture tells us that, no weapon fashioned against you shall prosper. It doesn't say that weapons will not be fashioned. No, it says no weapon. It means weapons will be fashioned. And he will put traps all over. Right from your phone. You open Instagram, you see an image. And all of a sudden, it plays back. All those things. So that's another, because the battle is in the mind. That is why Paul says in Romans 12:1, not be conformed by the patterns of the world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of the mind. He knows it's here. The devil knows. And this guy is millions of years old. He's not our age mate. For those who remember when I used to tell like that tonight, he's not your age mate. Stop saying that, me, I know, and you have been saved for 15 years. Dude, the devil has been in existence for millions of years. So guess what? He knows everything about you. Okay? But greater is he that is in you. We walked together, and I'm happy to say that he found his deliverance, and he became also a peer champion, as it is, an educator. And for me, those are some of the things that, wow, without Hope FM, really the platform of Hope FM, and as Reverend Tomboy used to tell us as well, this is a platform not for you, but God is using you. The initiative Friends of Hope is more or less like what Romans 10:17 says, that faith comes only by the hearing, and hearing through the word of God. But how will they hear if somebody does not go to tell them? Think about that Muslim brother or sister who, because of you being a friend of hope and supporting with your 100 bob or whatever it is, that in Friday evening, by chance, they listen to Yesu Ndienjia. And then because of you supporting and being a friend of hope, the message will reach them in Zanzibar, in Mombasa, in whatever it is. Mimi ni Rafiki Mso. I'm a friend of hope. I'm just a Zawaka. I would like for you pia ukwe Rafiki Mso.